Hey guys, how are you all doing? I hope you are doing well since my last video. Thank you so much for being here. So today I wanna batch cook and I will start by making yogurt. It's an evening. I decided to make yogurt and then I shall show you the results in the morning. I'm actually using Greek yogurt as a starter, and this milk is lukewarm. When you dip the finger inside, it can't burn you. So I love using the natural yogurt as a starter because of some reasons. I feel like it makes the yogurt more thicker compared to the flavored yogurts that we get as a starter. So I've added sugar and mixed and then added the natural yogurt, and that is it. I'm gonna cover overnight and let it become yogurt. So here I have some water. I want to boil some beef. I'm adding some salt, some garlic, and also some onions for flavors. You know, when you boil meat with onions and garlic, it has a different flavor compared to when you just boil it naturally like that. So I've added in the beef, and then I'm gonna mix well and then let it boil. After it has boiled, I'm gonna fry it, and I have a few spices that I love using in meat, that is turmeric and curry powder. So I'm gonna infuse in oil before adding in the onions. I don't want to add in hot oil because it takes away the flavors of the spices. So I'm gonna add in the onions and let them brown along with the spices. Then after that, I'm gonna add tomatoes, mix the tomatoes. I'm gonna add salt so that the salt can aid in softening the tomatoes, and then give it a good mix, cover, lower the heat, and let the steam do the thing. The steam really helps in softening the tomatoes. If you don't have a hand blender or you don't want to blend your tomatoes, you can just cover the pot, lower the heat, and let the steam just cook the tomatoes slowly. It will eventually soften them. But I love using the hand blender because it comes in handy whenever I'm batch cooking. So that is the onion that I did boil along with the beef. I've added it inside because it also has its own flavors. I can't throw it away and I can't just put it whole like that. So I had to blend it along with the tomato puree and then added in the beef. I'm telling you, when you make your beef like this, the taste and the flavors are very much different. And also when you add in beef broth, it's different when you add in just plain water. So I've added the beef broth, and then I'm gonna give it a good mix, let it boil just slowly, but I'm gonna add in some herbs. This is dried thyme, dried sage, some dried rosemary. I love throwing in whole onion in my soup so that we can enhance the flavors, because an onion really comes with a different kind of flavor. So I just love immersing it in the soup and let it boil along with the soup. And this is done, and the beef really looks delicious. It's a bit thick, it's not too runny. So I'm gonna garnish it with coriander, and this will come in handy with rice, or maybe when you want to serve ugali along with greens. This will really be helpful as a protein. So the next thing I want to do is now pack in the containers. It has already cooled down since I did cook it. It has taken like 3 hours to cool down, because some people were asking me, why are you putting hot food and in containers? And I decided, why not change that and decide to cool it down in the pot and then put it in the container. So it has cooled down. I'm gonna put in the containers, cover the containers, put in the freezer, and then we shall make a different meal. I have a very small freezers, but I have a way of making use of the space and making sure that it accommodates a lot of things. I also got a free range chicken as part of the protein. This time I wanted animal protein, but I really wanted a different thing. So I bought this free range chicken. They have already been cut, so all I want to do is just cut into smaller pieces, wash them, and then I shall cook them. With the chicken, I don't want to to interfere with the natural flavors of the chicken. We definitely need to get the flavors of the chicken, the natural flavors, without interfering with a lot of spices. So what I'll be doing, I'll use a totally different thing compared to what I'm used to using, and I'm not going to use spices in chicken. When it comes to free range chicken, just keep away from spices, or if you want to add spices, just use turmeric, but I'm not going to use any spices. So I'm adding some salt after washing it, then let it boil for like 3 hours slowly until it is soft. So as I wait for the chicken to cook, I'm gonna make dinner, because apparently it's in the evening and it's almost time for dinner. So I'm gonna make matoke. For dinner, it's just plain matoke. It's been a while since we did take matoke, and I normally love it when I get the matoke from the countryside. Buying matoke here in the city is very expensive to actually feed the entire family, because whatever they do sell is very, very little at a very high amount. So I prefer when I've gotten it from the countryside, that is when I get to cook it. So with matoke, to just get all the flavors, the nice and delicious matoke, just use onions, tomatoes, and turmeric. That is it. That is what I love using when it comes to matoke. Remember, matoke it has higher magnesium, and sometimes it can cause heartburns and all other things, but it's a very nutritious meal. So I've just used tomatoes and onions, blended them after they have softened. Then I'm gonna give it a good mix, add in some water, and then add a little bit of turmeric. Yeah, turmeric is for the color and also for nutritional benefits. That's all. I do love using turmeric alone when it comes to matoke. Matoke is a starch, so you don't want to give it a lot of spices. So I'm gonna cover it, let it cook, and then later I shall garnish it with some coriander. So I'm removing the foam from the chicken, because sometimes it's good to remove that foam, and then the matoke is done, and dinner is just done, just like that. Something easy, something simple, something that doesn't take much of your time. And because I was batch cooking, I really didn't want to tire myself out with coming up with a meal that is much complicated and is going to take up my time. So this is mine. I just served this. And then I have some bell peppers, mostly the red peppers, and the onions, and also tomatoes and garlic. I'm gonna give it a good mix after adding in sprinkling some oil and sprinkling some salt, and then I'm gonna bake them. I have some also green peppers there that had a mix of red and the green. I'm gonna bake them. Honestly, they're gonna give different flavor when it comes to stews. You don't want to be using raw blended, because raw blended just give different flavors compared to the ones that have been baked. So I've blended them, and I've added the puree in my pot, added chicken stock. I'm gonna add in chicken, and this stew was so delicious. Let me say, I haven't already consumed the chicken, but I did taste the chicken. The stew is so delicious. The colors are just so nice. Like, if you put in the plate and serve with rice, it looks so appealing, and it looks so delicious, and also tastes very, very delicious. And I had to put in the chicken like this because it's cooked and it can easily tear. So I just had to let it boil a little bit for like 5 minutes, and it's done. So I'm gonna let it cool overnight, not overnight, for like 2 hours before I pack it. And I have some dengu. These dengus, I'm gonna use them in making samosas. And the way I boil my dengus when it comes to samosas, I just boil them a little bit. They soften in the inside, but outside they are very they are not mushy. So this is the chicken. Look at that broth. The broth looks delicious with all the natural bell peppers and tomatoes and onions and garlic, and it tastes so good. So the dengus are done, the green grams. I'm gonna pack the chicken, put it in the freezer. Trust me, the food in the containers is a portion. When when I want now to cook maybe ugali, I'll just take one container, and the entire container is gonna serve the entire family. So it's like this chicken is gonna serve us like 5 or 6 portions for even more than 2 weeks. Yeah, because you can't take meat daily. You definitely have to take 2 or 3 times a week. So yeah, so I've packed it in the fridge. I'm happy that I still have a lot of space in the freezer to make use of to store other things. So this is the next morning, and the yogurt is done. It's very, very thick, just like I had intended to have it. And this yogurt, I just make it purposely for the kids to carry to school as a snack, because sometimes buying yogurt can be really quite a challenge and very expensive. So when I do make like this and then just serve in small quantity for them to carry to school, it gets to serve me like a whole week and saves me a lot in my pocket, and also saves me a lot of time and stress as well. So I have small bottles that were meant to be used for spices. So they are the ones that I do use to pack their yogurt to school. I love that quantity because that is what I want them to have. And also they, along with this, they do carry maybe mandazi, pancake, or any other thing. And the rest of the yogurt I'm gonna store in the fridge, and it's still gonna come in handy as a snack for them. I want to now deal with the beans. The beans I had soaked last night, and they have already cooked. I want to use a few spices and the ingredients to make the beans. So I'm gonna mention the spices: fenugreek powder, cumin powder, coriander powder, turmeric powder, fennel seed powder. When it comes to legumes, I have certain spices that I love using, but this time I did have to use different ones just to explore the flavors of different spices, and honestly it turned out to be so good. I added fennel seed. I've never used fennel seeds on legumes. I normally use fennel seeds when it comes to beef, or when it comes to rice, or when it comes to pilau, biryani. So the tomatoes are done in as much as they have stuck to the pot, but it's okay. This is a stainless steel pot. I'm gonna add in some beans. If you've been here long, you know I love using this method to thicken up the sauce or the soup in the beans. So I usually put a little bit of the beans, smash them, and use a hand blender, and then later add in the beans. Give it a good mix. I love beans when it comes to beans. I love it when I do add coconut milk. Honestly, I don't like adding water in my beans. It gets good flavors, or gives you good flavors, so you get to enjoy the beans when you do use coconut milk. I've used coconut milk this time. I did not make my own because the person who sells the coconut wasn't around, so I decided to use the canned one, and I've added a little bit of water just to have a lot of the sauce inside there. So I'm gonna let this steam for like 5 minutes so that the beans can get the flavors from the pounded beans and also from the coconut, and that is it. So I'm gonna garnish this, let it cool down, and also cover and store in the fridge. Yeah, I hope you are still enjoying these recipes. I purposely take you through step by step when I'm cooking my meals, so that you can borrow 1 or 2 recipes from here, maybe the ones you've never used before. I decided to order more bottles from Mason Jars for my probiotics. As you know, if you've been here for long, you know I make kombucha, and I love it because it's a probiotic. It saves us a lot. So I wanted something different to store in the fridge. This is 750 ml, and I love the design. I got this from Mason Jars. Mason Jars, I've been buying from Mason Jars over a year, and I love his services. So I got 8 pieces. This, I'm gonna put my probiotic here. If you know kombucha, you know it's very good. So it's been fermenting more than 13 days, 12 to 13 days, and I think it's done. I have different flavors. I'm gonna wash this, put in here, and put in the fridge, some on the counter, and wait to age a little bit with the flavors. I have this one here. This is green tea. This has taken approximately 11 days, yeah, and it's very, very much ready with a lot of SCOBY in it. Look at that. So I'm gonna put this in a jug and then put in the bottles. This one is a different flavor, yeah, also nicely fermented. I've emptied some and flavored them, so this is what we have. This is a black tea flavor. Then I've got the ginger tonic. It's so good. Oh my goodness. It has lemon, it has ginger, nicely flavored and balanced. But with this, I'm gonna let it sit in a dark place for like 3-4 days. Then we shall come back to it. This is ginger black tea and I love it. See, the SCOBY is forming. The SCOBY is forming, but I'm gonna remove it soon because this is so this is ginger tonic. Yeah. Ginger tonic kombucha. It's so good. Very, very nice. Yeah, so those are my teas. I'm gonna pack them in the bottles.
When we were younger, we used to sit on the grass among the flowers. We just let the days pass by. People would tell us to get a grip of ourselves and get a job. We didn't care what we were told, 'cause when we were younger, we used to sit on the grass and go, damn, I don't wanna grow old. I wish I could turn back time. Stay up all night singing songs on the terrace. We didn't mind sitting out in the cold. It wasn't possible to make us embarrassed. We were free. Do you remember stealing smokes from your parents? Sometimes we got a bit out of control. When they found out we ran from home just to scare them, we were free. When we were so here we have the kombucha. This is just the original black tea. The brew is about 13 days, and then this one is the green tea. You can see the difference. Normally this is it's only me who consumes the green tea. I don't give the kids the green tea because sometimes it can make you lack sleep if you take it late in the night or maybe in the evening. I think from 7 there you will definitely lack sleep. So this one is for adults, not for kids. I usually give the kids this and the ginger tonic and the lemon one and the other flavors. But for the green tea, it's only me and any other person. So there we have the kombucha. It's a good stock. And still, I haven't stocked the ginger tonic. I still want it to age a little bit or ferment a little bit. You can call it age. Age has no time limit or time lapse. So I'm gonna store this in the fridge and then see you later. Sometimes we got a bit out of control. When they found out we went from home just to scare them, we were free. When we were 17. When we were 17. They are cooled down, so not storing hot food. When we were younger, we used to sit on the grass and go, damn, I don't wanna grow old. Stay up all night singing songs on the terrace. We didn't mind
differences.